Bienvenidos! Welcome to another thrilling episode of Blackset to Panama, the show where we discuss all things Exodus from the United States. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I'm your host, Big Will, and I'm really excited today to bring you what I think is one of the best benefits of being an expat living in Panama, and that is the access to travel. Now, I'm not saying that travel is not possible in the United States. No, it's just easier, faster, and cheaper coming from Panama because you're already closer to the destinations that you're trying to get to. And the cost of living in Panama makes it easier for us to take more vacations. So, repeat offenders, you know that a few months ago, we took a quick hop to Costa Rica to celebrate our anniversary. This time, it's time for a little spring vacation. We decided to go in the other direction and take a quick hop to Cartagena, Colombia. So, without any further ado, Blackseteers, let's get to it. Corazón. Tú me pides corazón. Tú me pides corazón. All right, Blackseteers. So before we dive into all the rich content and the beautiful colors and videos that we have to show you about Cartagena, let's go over a few items and insider tips and observations. So number one, travel to Colombia from Panama. Very easy to do. The flight was only an hour. The drive to the airport actually took us longer than the flight did, and it was cheap. It was about $200 per person round trip. So quick, fast, easy, and cheap. I cannot stress that enough. We feel so blessed to be expats in Panama at this point. Traveling to Colombia right now during COVID, very easy to do. If you're fully vaccinated, you simply have to fill out their immigration forms online. I'm putting a link to the Check Migration site. That's what they call it, Check Migration. That link is below. Just go on there, answer a few questions about your flight, your flight number, when you're going to be, where you're going to stay, and some health questions. You're good to go. Be sure on your return, your departure, to go back to that same website and fill out the exit form. I forgot to do that, so we got to the airport, we're going through customs, and they're like, you just step over there, get your phone out, and start filling out that form. So it took like an extra 10 minutes while we were trying to get on the flight. Y'all, don't be like Big Will, do it in advance. So that's it for fully vaxxed. No need to take COVID test. I don't know what the rules are if you're not vaxxed, because I'm vaxxed. So moving on. Cartagena, logistics. It is a walkable town. So we focused our vacation on the walled city in Cartagena. That's the old fort area. It's like old San Juan or Casco Viejo in Panama City. Lots of old architecture, forts. So it's a walled city because it's a fort and it's completely encased in a wall, and it's a walkable community, lots of restaurants, plenty of places to stay. They had, Cartagena has big hotels. I didn't see any of the major Hiltons in the walled city, but there are plenty of boutique hotels in the walled city, and we did Airbnb. Our Airbnb was absolutely fantastic. It was right in the heart of the action. We could literally walk out of our door and be right there in the middle of the walled city. There was a restaurant immediately to our right. As we walked out the door, there was a nice clothing store across the street from our Airbnb. And there was another restaurant across the street where they had live music, and, you know, we could see and hear the mariachi band, and they were loud. We could hear them. And that's another thing. There is a lot of action going on in the walled city. It can get kind of loud, but it usually dies down around 1 o'clock in the morning. So no fears there. So another observation: Cartagena is hot. It's got to be about 10 degrees hotter than Panama, and more humid. So anytime I stepped out the door in the daytime, I felt like a stuck pig. My advice, go out early in the morning, get your stuff done in the daytime. You know, if you're going to do walking tours like we did, stay hydrated, have a towel, dress coolly because it's going to be hot. But it cools down at night. I mean, once the sun goes down, oh my God, the city really comes alive and it's really entertaining. So walking logistics, it's an old town and the streets weren't made for cars. They were made for horses. So they're really, really tiny streets and cars are using them. So be aware of that. Most of the time you can walk in the streets unless it's one of the major the main roads in the walled city, because you know you can walk in the street, cars only gonna come by every so often, but be mindful, cars are gonna come by. The streets are one way, so you only have one direction to look for cars, and be mindful. Again, the streets are narrow. You can be on the sidewalk, and a car can be in the street, and there's still a chance that the side mirrors, depending on how big the car is, the side mirrors may hit you as a pedestrian. So just be mindful. There were a couple times where we had to put our backs up against the wall to let a delivery truck through or a large SUV. So, no one got hit. I'm not saying it's dangerous. I'm just saying be on your P's and Q's. Money. So they use pesos in Colombia. So be ready. You're going to need to exchange some currency at the airport if you plan on taking a taxi from the airport. They actually have Uber too. But the taxi line was right there, and if I remember correctly, it was the equivalent of $5 to get us from the airport to our Airbnb. The pesos, bills, everything's gonna come in these huge meal denominations, 20 mil, 50 mil. And mil is the Spanish term for 1,000. So it's not million, it's really in thousands. So for us, we're still, learning Spanish, aprendiendo español. It's a little getting used to and disconcerting hearing, that this thing costs, 50 mil. Whoa, player. Let me think about that for a second. But 50 mil is really only about $12. So keep that in mind. And the price differential, the exchange rate makes the pricing extremely good for those coming off of the US dollar. So the most expensive meal that we had, and we tried. There was one night I was like, look, these prices are incredible. Let's see if we can bust the bank. And we were ordering pitchers of sangria and everything, and the meal was only like $52 altogether, including the tip. And the tip in Spanish is propina, so make sure you look for that on your bill. 9 out of the 10 places that we went to included it in there, so you just pay the total amount and everybody's happy. There are plenty of food options, so don't worry about that. I'm telling you right now, your biggest problem is going to be trying to pick which restaurant to eat at, because there's so many options, so many rooftops. I would encourage reservations. You can find all these places on Google. I was Googling rooftops near me, and it would come up with a list of 15 restaurants, and then I could click on the restaurant's website and make the reservations at that point. Things get really busy there right after sunset, so I typically made our reservations for 6:30, and we got there right at the beginning of the rush and saw the restaurants fill up, and we had our space, and right next to the salsa band and all that good stuff. So go there and have a good time. Very quick, my biggest aha moment of the trip was realizing and witnessing the pervasiveness of Afro-Colombian culture being presented in the mainstream, not off to the side someplace, but the mainstream. So my first inkling was on the ride from the airport, seeing a huge billboard for lipstick, and it was a dark-skinned Afro-Colombian model on that billboard, and we're still in the main business district. Wait a minute, what's going on? I'm not used to seeing that. That's the kind of thing that I would see once I got to Martin Luther King Avenue in the hood. You know what I'm saying? This is mainstream, and we stayed in the most tourist part of Cartagena in the walled city, and it was reflected everywhere. It was reflected in the art. It was reflected in the people. It was just amazing to me to see us being represented, and I felt seen. It felt so good, people. I cannot wait to get back and explore that some more. Now, my biggest pet peeve is the street vendors and the panhandlers are super aggressive, and I mean super duper duper aggressive. They come up to you, you know, guys with hats all on their arms, and you know, no gracias, not interested, no gracias. They're not going to take no for an answer. They're going to make you say it 5 or 6 times. They're going to walk with you down the street. If you stop at a vendor, you know, like at one point, Sonia bought something from one vendor, and next thing you know, 4 or 5 of them walked up on us and was like, well, buy this too. And then the panhandlers are the same. The people begging, as you know, you're going to see some of that, unfortunately, and they don't mind using their children as well. It was really unfortunate to see, but it did not take away from the trip. Be on your P's and Q's with that. Be more, you know, discreet if you want to help people on the street. You know, you got to do it in a way so that the other people won't see it, because otherwise you're going to be mobbed. And the street vendors are the same way. So just keep that in mind. And like I said, it's not going to take away from the trip. Just be mindful. All right, fam. So that's it for my quick observations. Let me shut my mouth and let you get to the images. All right, Black Satyrs. Like I said, we had a wonderful time. Cartagena owes us nothing. You saw all those vibrant colors. We did come back with some artwork, don't worry. But when we go back to Cartagena, we're going with a completely empty suitcase so we can come back with all the stuff. How about that? Let me take care of some housekeeping business. If this is your first time joining us on Black to Panama, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and learn a little bit about how expats live. Please take the time to like and subscribe so that you can be informed next time some of this hot information drops. For my repeat offenders, yay! Thank you so much, family, for all the support. You have really gotten me to the point where I can do some things with this business, and I really, really appreciate all of you. Keep shouting me out as you see me in the wild, and stay tuned. I've got some major announcements coming for my repeat offenders in the next few weeks. All right, fam? That's going to be a wrap from me. Y'all take care. Adios and ciao.